Okay, so now that we have all our parts made, all our tubes made, we have a total of 1, 2, 3, excuse me, 4, 5, 6, and 7 tubes. Okay, these are for the 2 for the legs, 2 for the arms, 1 for the hat, 1 for the collar, and a big one for the head and the body. Okay, so I think we should start with, let's start with the small parts. Okay, so for the let's start with the arms. So what you need to do first is like you're creating a beanie, you know. This is why when you first obtain your circular knitting machine, I think it's very important that the first thing you learn how to make is a beanie, because that's how I learned how to create the others after that, other stuff. So first what you need to do is close the beige end of this tube by cinching it, and then locking the end by sewing the end. Okay, doesn't matter how you do it, because this will just be the inside lining of your arm. And then you're going to insert this end of the tube towards the other end, just like when you're making a beanie. Excuse me, allergy season, as everybody knows. Okay, oh, and just make sure that before you do all this stuff, that you have tied up all the ends of your joining yarn, where you joined all your yarn colors. Make sure that you tied them and trimmed them before you do all of this. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so when you see that you're close to being even on each end, I want you to insert your needle through the closed end, so it will go to this side. Okay, and then you're gonna pull that, start cinching the other end so you can close them together. Make sure that the inside layer is all the way at the end, and then I need you to do a couple of knots with the remaining yarn strings, just to make sure they're locked together. And then we're gonna completely close this end by sewing. Just maybe a couple of knots or locks or stitches. And then let's hide this yarn. Yep. And cut the remaining string. And do the same with this other one. I hope you can see what I'm doing. Let's see if I could focus this better. Bear with me, I'm new to this. And I can see that my lighting is not that great. I see that. You can see the reflection of my light. I hope it doesn't hurt your eyes. Hopefully we'll get better at this as I do this. Okay, so do the same thing with this yarn string. Just make sure this end is close, because this will be the part that would be attached to the body, the white end. Okay. So after locking this, I guess we're just gonna keep this yarn string attached. Do not cut it, because we're gonna use it to sew the arm to the body. Okay. All right, let's just leave it like that. Leave the yarn. And then I'm trying to decide if I should put stuffing for the arm, because I think it's big enough. So what I'm thinking of doing is just closing this end of the tube and just folding it together so that the arm is not as big as the leg. Okay, so let's not put any stuffing on this one. So what we can do is with your remaining beige yarn, I would like for you to maybe just make running stitches. For those people who have bought some of my yarn, oh yeah, some of my patterns on Etsy, I'm sure you're familiar with this technique of closing the ends, because this is how I usually close my tubes when making limbs for dolls. So I'm sure this is nothing new to you. But for those who are not familiar, here you go. Oopsie. Okay, so what we can do, so now we've created sort of a drawstring. So you're just gonna pull that. Okay, so now it's like almost even. And then we're gonna pull the yarn string, lock it, make a couple of knots. Okay, now it's not completely invisible, the connections or the yarn changes that we made here, so we can hide that inside, so it's not, you can't see it on the outside of the arm. So what we can do is we can just flatten this arm or roll it like that, like a cylinder. Okay, and then with this still attached to the end of the beige part of the arm, I want you to just saw the edges together. Okay, so we're just pretty much just closing the tube. By sewing them together on their edges as we folded them lengthwise. Okay, I'm gonna stop here because I don't want to use the beige yarn with the red and white. So let's leave it like that for now. So this would be your hand part. Okay, now let's close this side of the arm. Okay, so after reviewing the video, I just realized that the part where I closed this part of the tube was not caught very well by the video, so let me redo it for you guys. I put a little mark there for me so I know, it'll remind me not to go far from the camera. Okay, so with your remaining white yarn at the end of this tube, you're going to use it to close this end by just sewing the edges together. And as I said on the previous video, which you guys did not see, I used blind stitches over the red stripe since I'm using a white yarn, so I could still join them together, the edges together, without the white yarn showing. Now if you're feeling very patient while doing this, you can always change your yarn every time you change color. White yarn for the white stripes, red yarn for the red stripes, okay? But in my case, I decided to just make blind stitches over the red stripes and just regular hemming stitches for... Ooh, I just hit the camera. Whoopsie. Okay. Regular hemming stitches for the white stripes. Promise you, it won't show. Okay. Blind stitch over the red stripes. Let me focus that more. Regular hemming stitches for the white part. Blind stitches again for the red part. And if you're new to these kind of stitches, just search on YouTube, blind stitches, hemming stitches. I'm sure there's a lot of tutorial that could help you with those basics. Okay, last stripe. All right. So I'm gonna just turn this over so I could reinsert the needle back to the white area and just do just lock my stitches in this area so it won't show on the red part. And then I'm just, since I might be still able to use this yarn later to sew the arm to the body, I'm just gonna not waste any yarn, but instead sew it until it reaches the top of the arm, okay? So we could use again later. Okay, and then one more stitch here just to lock it, and then we'll just leave it like that, okay? And then let's go back to the beige area. And I think I was able to finish this part on the previous video, but just to be sure. So I left this part, this yarn here. I intentionally not cut it so I can use it to make the wrist. So what you can do is by using this yarn in your yarn needle, just make running stitches along the border of your red stripes and your beige end of the tube or the hand, all the way around. Okay. Yep, I think I made it all the way around already. And just cinch it, okay? Cinch it until you make a little indentation there to look like you have a wrist. Oy! And then cinch it as much as you can, of course, without breaking your yarn. And then lock your stitches. Pull it as hard as you can. Again, without breaking your yarn. And then hide your remaining yarn strings. Okay. There we go. Now we can cut this. Oops. And you know, this one we just need to hide this one. Okay, dokie. Hide the yarn and then cut it. Alrighty. So the only yarn string we left is the one on the top, the white yarn right here. Okay. So now we have the two arms completed. All right. Now let's proceed to the legs. Now it's pretty much the same technique as what you did with the Here, let me unfocus this. Yep, so you could see the whole thing. Same technique with the arm, okay? You're gonna close one end, the beige end, insert it inside the tube, align it with this end, close both of them together, and then, oh, but the difference this time is we're gonna use stuffing, okay? Because we wanna make use of this width, all right? So let's do this now. First, let's cinch the beige end of the tube. As much as you can. Just ignore my little sticker there. Okay. Cinch this end, sew it off. Close it off by sewing. Okay. And then we're going to insert this end of the tube inside the tube towards the other end. This is longer, so it's a little harder. Oopsie. The green part will be the shoes. The shoes for this doll. So same as the arm, you're gonna insert this needle through this closed end, through the other side, so you can tie the strings on both ends together. Okay, just make sure you align them as much as you can. There we go. And then close the other end on top of the beige end. Okay, make sure you hide all these sticking out yarn. Okay. And then we can tie a knot. Make sure this is tight enough. Tie a knot between the beige. I keep saying beige, it's actually cream. Sorry about that. Okay. The cream and the red yarn string, sorry. Okay, so right there. So now we can hide. Let's hide the beige yarn. And then cut it off. Okie dokie. All right. Oops. Let's save this beige or cream yarn for later. And then let's just make a couple more stitches here just to make sure this end is locked. What's wrong with this needle? Okay. So we just lock it. Okay. And leave it like that for now. Oh. Let's see. So this time we're going to put the stuffings in. Now you just want to put enough stuffings, okay? You don't want to overstuff it, because if you do, it'll overstretch the yarn and, you know, it won't look good. Just enough to give it the body. Or the bulk, I should say. Okay. Okay, so we're going to put more. It's so easy to overstuff it if you're not used to it, to doing this, I mean. Okay. So just do what you can. Okay. And we want to make the foot part, which is the green part, bulkier than this part, because this is going to be the shoe part. So let's put more stuffings here. Okay. So you remember how we created the wrist for the arm? So it's the same thing with the shoe. We're going to do the exact same thing, just to create that ankle, the effect of having an ankle. Okay. Let's see, I hope that's... Okay, that should be good enough. Okay, so now we're going to grab... hang on. I'm going to grab a green yarn to close the green end of the tube. Go. Okay. I need more needles here. Yikes. All right, let's try if this will work. Okay, so what we're going to do down here, I think I'm going to add a little bit more stuffing for the shoe. Just because I want it. Okay. All right. So same as the arm, we're just going to make running stitches at this end of the tube along the edges, okay? So we can make a drawstring. So we can close this end. Okay, so now that we have the running stitches around the edges, we can now pull that to close this end. Okay. Okay. And make a couple of knots to really close that end. Just be gentle not to, you're going to pull hard, but at the same time, be gentle not to break your yarn, or else you're going to have to start all over. As you can see, even though I tried pulling the yarn as much as I could, there's still a little bit of opening there. So this is when you have to use your needle to close it off. And make couple more knots here. There we go. Okay. Oh, a little bit more. Okay. You might be hearing a little bit of tweeting in the background. I have a little parrot here trying to assist me. He's making a few noises there. Okay, so now it's close. So all we need to do now, later on we're going to hide this yarn. But for this yarn that's attached to the needle, I want you to insert your needle all the way to the border of the green and the white yarn, or the white stripe, okay? Okay, where is the back? All right, I'm going to use this as the back. So this is the front of the leg, okay? So you're going to pull that it's coming from here, and I inserted it to go through here, right? So if you notice, when I pull this, it's gonna make it look like it's flat at the bottom. So it's making it look like it's a shoe, okay? So what I need you to do is pull it like that. Oh, pull it like that. Make it closer. Too many stuff here. There you go. So pull this yarn upward so this part will get flat. And as you're keeping that yarn in tight, you're gonna make a stitch here to lock this in place. Okay, so now there's a flat end here. So it kind of looks like a shoe, okay? I hope you can see that from your TV or from your computer. And then on top of that, we're going to also make the running stitches again along the border of the white stripe and green end to create that effect of having an ankle. Okay. Now I'm seeing the benefit of making videos instead of writing them down, because it's easier to explain it. Although this takes a lot of editing too. Okay. Just like Adele said, go easy on me, okay? I'm new to this. All right. So now if I cinch it a little bit, you can see how this becomes a bit bulkier, you know? There's that indentation. Okay, so it looks like a shoe. All right. And then once you've created your desired shape, you can lock your stitches. Yikes. Okay. And then we can now hide your remaining yarn. Okay. Aw, this is cute. I'm praising my own work. Okay. One more knot at the bottom before I close this. Before I hide all these yarn. Oh my goodness, this is perfect. Okay. Hide one yarn. And then let's hide the other one. Okay. Cut it. And there's our one leg with shoe. Okay. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna let you do the other one, okay? All right, I'll be back and I'll be creating the other leg, and we'll be back to meet with you.